In this video lecture, we're going to discuss one of the algorithm under decrease and conquer, which is insertion sort. We already discussed this in your data structure, so this is just a review. So in insertion sort, we have two sides. So we have the sorted side and the unsorted side. So typically, in the first cycle of our insertion sort, the first element will be part of the sorted side. So it could be the highest, the lowest, or we don't know. Because later we're going to sort it further as we goes from the first element to the next element. Okay, so we're going to organize it while we move the pointer, we organize the different elements. Okay, so let's apply insertion sort. So again, first sorted side is the first element. And then we're going to proceed with the second element. And then we're going to compare it with the first element. Since this is smaller, we're going to insert it before the first element. Okay, so it means the second element will be now be the first element, while the first element will now be the second element. So after swapping, okay, so the two first element will be part of the sorted side. Now, so since we already sorted the first and second, now let's move on with the third. So compare it with the first, or with the second, rather, it's bigger. So therefore, it will be part of the sorted side. And the fourth, a fourth element, so compare with the third, fourth is greater, so we're not going to move it. So therefore, the fourth element will be part of the sorted side. And then on the fifth element, okay, so we're going to compare it with the fourth element. So the fifth element is smaller, so therefore we're going to swap it with, okay, with the fourth, and then compare it with the third element. So it is smaller, so therefore the third element will go to the fourth slot, and then compare it with the second element. Second element is bigger, so therefore second will go to the third position, and then compare it with the current. Okay, compare it with the first element. Still, it's smaller, so therefore the first element will go to the second slot, and this value will go to the first slot. Okay, so we compare. If it's smaller, we're going to insert it before, and then compare it on the left side until it will be bigger than the left side. So we're going to stop in inserting. Okay, so now we have 5 elements sorted, so the only element that is not sorted is the 6th element. So same procedure, compare it with the 5th element. It's smaller, so therefore we're going to swap, okay? And then with the 4th and the 3rd and the 2nd, and since this is bigger than the first element, so it will be the 2nd element, okay? So that's how insertion sort works. So this is the simple program implementation of an insertion sort. Okay, so this is another example of insertion sort. So again, we have a specific value now. So we have 23, 78, 45, 8, 32, and 56 in an array. So again, we have a sorted side and unsorted side. So the sorted side, initially, it includes the first element. Everything on the right side will be unsorted side. So compare the first and second. So if we're going to sort it from lowest to highest, so therefore this is correct. So 23 and 78 now is sorted, and the right side of 78 will be unsorted. So compare 45 to 78. It's smaller, so therefore we're going to insert 45 before 78. Okay, and then compare 45 with 23. So 45 is greater, so we're not going to move it. So therefore, so we already sorted the first three elements. So now fourth element. So 8 will be compared to 78. So it's smaller. So insert it here. And then compare it again to 45. So it's smaller. So therefore it will be inserted before 45. And then compare again with 23. So it's still smaller. So therefore the final destination of 8 is before 23. So therefore the result of the sorted value will be 8, 23, 45, 78. Now we only have two unsorted side, unsorted values in the unsorted side. So now 32 compared with 78, 32 is smaller. So we're going to insert it before 78. Then compare it with 45. So it's still smaller. So insert it before 45. Compare with 23. Now it's larger. So we stop. Therefore, this is the correct position. It should be before 45. Now, this is the sorted value. 8, 20, 32, 45, 78. And then the last value, which is part of the unsorted. Now, compare with 78, it's smaller. So we're going to insert it before 78. Then compare it with 45, it's greater. So it means we're going to insert 58 between 45 and 78 on its final destination. Okay, so now the value will be 8, 23, 32, 45, 56, 78. And since all value is part of the sorted side, therefore, we stop. So that's insertion sort. Okay, so more examples about decrease and conquer on the other video lecture. Thank you for listening.